Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tausif, and we are so close to midnight here in the Central Time Zone, just 7 minutes away from midnight. So it's going to be a new day in just a few minutes, and this is super late for me to be starting a live stream. Once I start a live stream, it can continue well into the early hours of the morning. I've done live streams past 1 a.m., 2 a.m., but I usually don't start this late. But here I am because I've got lots of things to talk about. And, I had a nice cup of tea not too long ago. So I'm wide awake. And we're going to talk about tariffs and trade, my friends. So if you are tuning in, please subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. And also make sure that you hit the like button. Okay, I see Frank is already here. Frank says, hello, Tausif and everyone. Frank, so good to see you. And I hope that more of our friends will be tuning in because we have something very important to discuss. Okay, so every single day we can talk about international trade, international relations. And if you want to discuss international relations and international trade, the discussion can go on for 24 hours. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is a non-stop cycle. There's breaking news during the day. There's breaking news in the afternoon. There's breaking news at night. It just goes on and on and on because we are talking about international relations, how different countries interact with each other. And all the different countries of the world, they are in different time zones. So right now we're getting close to midnight here in Wisconsin, in the American Midwest, but somewhere in Asia, it's morning. So, middle of the day. Somewhere in Asia, it's middle of the day on the other side of the world. And so there's breaking news. There are developments that are taking place nonstop, 24/7. And we know that tariffs are being imposed. President Donald J. Trump and his administration, they have decided to impose tariffs, and we have discussed that on this channel. Now, some tariffs are being put on pause. Negotiations are taking place. Countries are reaching out to the United States of America. There are possibilities of fruitful talks. Fruitful. We want conversations, we want discussion to be fruitful. There are possibilities also of rising tension in some cases. I mean, there are so many countries around the world. I would like to assume that there would be fruitful conversation with each and every one of those countries. But, we have to accept the reality that in some cases there may not be fruitful conversation. There may be rising tension and greater conflict and disputes. I mean, it may happen, but we know that President Donald J. Trump is an excellent negotiator. He knows the art of the deal. And so I'm optimistic. Now, when you think about international trade, think about all the different countries that are involved in trade talks. Think about the various personalities who are involved, the various leaders and the various heads of governments all over the world. When you are negotiating with a country, it's more than a country. You are dealing with a particular head of government or a particular foreign minister or a particular economy or finance minister. So you're dealing with human beings with various personalities. And some foreign leaders and ministers are reasonable people. If somebody has, managed to be the head of government in a country, or to become the finance minister, or the economy minister, or the trade and international relations minister, somebody who's in charge of international trade, international negotiations, it's not easy to get to those positions in most cases. And so you would expect that you're going to be interacting with reasonable people, logical people, people with rational thinking, people who will look at things objectively and recognize the reality and then negotiate accordingly. And then there are personalities. When you look at foreign leaders all over the world, there are personalities that don't fall in the logical and rational category. There may be foreign leaders out there in the world who are stubborn and unnecessarily aggressive. And they may be so stubborn and so unnecessarily aggressive that they may not want to negotiate properly. And in the process, they may hurt their own economy, the economy of the country that they're representing, and they may cause hardship for their own people and businesses. And that's why international negotiations are not easy. These negotiations take time. These negotiations require resources and patience. And there are countries that are eager to reduce the tariffs that they impose on the United States. And those countries, those foreign leaders, those ministers, those ambassadors, those people in charge of, those presidents, they may want to come to an agreement with President Trump and his administration. They may want to come to an agreement with the United States. And then there are countries that want to fight back. There are countries that want to fight back. They want to retaliate. I mean, can we talk about Canada? Can we talk about Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada? Who wants to talk about Mark Carney? Please share your thoughts in the live chat, my friends. I see Jet is here. Jet, good to see you. Deha is here. Deha, good to see you. Thank you all for being here. And there are others who are tuning in. Thank you all for being here, for subscribing and being a part of this community. I appreciate that so very much. So let's talk about Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada. Mark Carney seems to have a stubborn personality. He seems very adamant about holding on to the ideology, to the positions that he has, to the viewpoints that he has. And I've talked about Mark Carney on this channel. Mark Carney, he had some very tough things. He had some very tough things to say about the United States right after he became the Prime Minister of Canada. But things change, my friends. When faced with reality, a lot of people have to make a lot of adjustments. Sometimes people act all tough and then they realize that the strategy needs to be changed. So let's talk about Mark Carney. It seems that Mark Carney's tone has changed. In fact, on April 9th of 2025, that's Wednesday, just 2 days ago, Mark Carney wrote the following on Truth Social, and I'm going to read to you, not the whole post, but part of it. And it'll give you a sense of what Mark Carney may be thinking. Mark Carney wrote, "The pause on reciprocal tariffs announced by President Trump is a welcome reprieve for the global economy. As President Trump and I have agreed, the US President and the Canadian Prime Minister will commence negotiations on a new economic and security relationship immediately following the federal election." Okay. Talking about negotiations now. And federal election, Mark Carney is referring to the federal election that will be taking place in Canada, our neighbor to the north. So, very interesting that Mark Carney, who had some very tough words for the United States and for President Trump right after he became the prime minister, now the same Mark Carney, that same individual, it's not a different Mark Carney, it's the same person. Now, it seems that he is interested in negotiating. He wants to negotiate. Well, that's great. That is wonderful. Negotiations are great. Negotiations lead to solutions, and solutions lead to growth and prosperity. So if Mark Carney wants to negotiate, wonderful. But that tells you that his tone has changed. He realized over the last few weeks that tough talks don't lead to prosperity, don't lead to solutions. Tough talks are great if those talks can be backed up by tough actions. But in this case, Mark Carney has realized, or he's starting to realize, that in a dispute, if there's a dispute, Canada is not going to be able to win against the US. Canada is not going to win against the greatest country in the world, which is the United States of America. So Mark Carney can say tough things, but Donald Trump can do tough things. Donald Trump has the resources, he has the tools that he can use, and he can send a strong message to all the countries around the world that, hey, the United States of America is the leader. We are the leader. You got to understand that. Other countries may be strong, may be powerful, but they cannot be strong. They cannot be as powerful as the United States of America. And so, there's something else that Mark Carney wrote in that post on X. This was on April 9th of 2025. By the way, I see Gerlina is here. Gerlina, it is so good to see you. Our friend Crockett is here too. Crockett, so good to see you. Gerlina, Crockett, everyone, thank you all for being here. As you can tell, I'm starting to do live streams again daily. Okay, the last few weeks have been challenging with my schedule and other things going on in life, but I will try to do live streams as much as I can. So thank you all for being here. Please continue to support this channel. Okay, I think we kind of fell behind in algorithm a little bit, but we're going to catch up. So like this video, subscribe, share, I would appreciate that, okay? All right. Gerlina, so good to see you. And Crockett, thank you. Thank you for being here. Uh, Mark Carney said, there's another paragraph he wrote in his post, April 9th. I'm going to read that. Here it is. As part of today's announcement, the president, meaning Donald Trump, the president has signaled that the United States will engage in bilateral negotiations with a number of other countries. This will likely result in a fundamental restructuring of the global trading system. Congratulations to Mark Carney for realizing what is going on and for acknowledging what is going on. That is correct. There will be a fundamental restructuring of the global trading system. Yes, there will be. There will be a fundamental restructuring of the global trading system. Mark Carney understands. His words tell me that he understands what is going on. And I believe that is why he is coming forward and he now wants to negotiate. Yes, there will be fundamental restructuring of the global trading system. And when I say that, I feel very happy. I feel very hopeful. There's a certain excitement associated with the understanding that yes, there will be a fundamental restructuring of the global trading system. We have seen for years, and people who are much older than me, they have seen for decades how our country, the United States, became a victim because of unfair trade. Unfair trade. We have lost a lot of money. We have lost a lot of wealth. We have lost a lot of jobs. We have lost a lot of businesses. Businesses that were American businesses, jobs that were American jobs. We have lost many jobs, many businesses, many opportunities. We have lost a lot of wealth because of unfair trade. In our trade relationships with different countries around the world, what happened? Other countries, they benefited from trade, and we lost. We lost. And this happened over a period of many, 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 many years. And now, President Donald J. Trump wants to address that problem that has been going on for a very, very long time. And what President Trump is doing, the actions that he is taking, yes, it will lead to a fundamental restructuring of the global trading system. And Mark Carney has understood that, which is great. I think it's important for him to understand that. And I think that is exactly why he is now eager to negotiate. Okay, so you can go and read his posts on X if you want to. I'm not going to go into all the details. AC, good to see you. AC Cruz is here. Rachel, so good to see you. Rachel is here, our friend from Waukesha. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. So, Charisse is here. Hi, Charisse, good to see you. Scott Wells, Scott, thank you for being here. Okay. My friends, Prime Minister Carney, obviously, as I said, and I'm going to repeat it again, he seems to be willing and eager to negotiate. And there's another reason for that. Canada is feeling the impacts of the changes that are taking place. Canada is feeling a lot of pain right now. Now, I know that A lot of you are paying attention to everything that's happening. A lot of you are paying attention, but there's just so much of news. It's not easy to keep track of everything. I mean, no one can keep track of everything. So I'm going to share with you some important updates, and you can let me know your thoughts, okay? The Canadian economy is in a lot of trouble. Jewel is here. Hi, Jewel. Thank you for being here. The Canadian economy is in a lot of trouble. And it's a fact. It is a fact. You know, I am presenting to you unbiased information. And some people may not want to hear it. Some people may say, oh, we don't want to hear your viewpoints. What I'm telling you, these are not my viewpoints right now. These are just facts, objective information. The Canadian economy is in a lot of trouble. Reportedly, hundreds of workers have been laid off at an automobile assembly plant in Ontario. It's a GM plant, and that's bad news for Canada. And prior to that, automaker Stellantis had announced a temporary shutdown of its assembly plant in Windsor, Canada. By the way, Windsor is close to it's at the US-Canada border. Windsor, okay, it's in Canada, but very close to the US. This temporary shutdown is impacting thousands of workers at the plant. Okay? And who knows what else may be happening in the business sector of Canada. And who knows what other businesses will go into temporary shutdown mode or will lay off workers or will close down their plants and businesses. I mean, we don't know. That's why we got to pay attention. We got to pay attention. Canada is in a very, very uncertain territory right now. Do you agree with me? My friends, Canada is in a very, very uncertain territory. Do you agree? Let me know. Let me know, my friends. Hold on, I gotta fix the screen here. All right, got it. Okay, so as I was saying, Canada is in a very uncertain territory right now. The road ahead is very, very uncertain for Canada. What is the Canadian economy going to look like 6 months from now, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? No one knows. No one knows. I think this is what is going to happen. I'm going to share with you my analysis, and you can feel free to disagree. Feel free to say, Tassif, thanks for your analysis. We disagree. And then state what you think is going to happen, because I want to hear from you. I'm not saying I'm going to be 100% correct. I'm not saying I'm going to be 50% correct. I'm not saying I'm going to be 20% correct. I'm just saying this is what I think is going to happen. I could be wrong. So share with me your thoughts. Didi is here from California. Didi, good to see you. Here's what I think is going to happen. More and more businesses will move from Canada to the United States of America. I think this is what is going to happen. More businesses will exit Canada and relocate to the United States. And businesses that that have presence in Canada, that have presence in both Canada and the US, what they may do, what those businesses may do, is downsize Canadian operations and expand jobs, expand their factories in the United States. This is what may happen. Expansion in the US and downsizing in Canada. In fact, according to reports, a furniture maker is moving from Canada to the United States, and I think that company is moving to North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. I think that country is moving to North Carolina. So this is great news for the United States. Great news for the US. Businesses leaving Canada is bad news for Canada. I understand that. But it's good news for the United States, and obviously we talk about America first, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I am hopeful that the US-Canada trade talks will be fruitful, and maybe we will get to a win-win situation. We will get to a win-win situation. I'm hopeful. Let me see some comments here. Oh, Didi, thank you so much for the wonderful compliment, Didi. You saw a picture of me. Was it me sitting on a couch? Was that the picture you saw? It was at a cafe. It was at a cafe. If that's the picture you saw. But thank you so much, Didi. All right. So my friends, this is the new Trump economy. This is the golden age in the United States of America. My friends, it's a very, very competitive world. The world that we live in, very, very competitive. And for many years, other countries have taken advantage of the United States, but that will not continue anymore. It is going to be America first, and countries that want to be friends with the United States, countries that reach out to us and say, hey, we want to be your friends. Let's talk. Let's sign an agreement. Let's have a good deal. Let's negotiate. Those countries will win as well. It's going to be win-win. It's going to be win-win. And it is possible to get to win-win trade relationship. So, my friends, now let us talk about the US-China relationship and trade. Do you want to talk about US-China relationship? Let me know, my friends, in the live chat. Rachel says you love them cafe. Yeah, I love cafes. I love cafes, just get a beverage. I usually go for the hot beverages, not the iced ones. Sit down, have some food, have a pastry, enjoy. That's what I do. I usually have my laptop with me. I'll type up stuff, I'll write. Yeah. So I love cafes. I do. Thanks, Rachel. By the way, there are lots of great cafes in Waukesha County, where Rachel lives. Waukesha County has great cafes and restaurants. Really good. Okay. My friends, let's talk about the US-China relationship, but before that, I need to present some data to you. And the following information has been taken from the Office of the United States Trade Representative, and I'm going to share that information with you. Dana, so good to see you. Dana. Dana from Oregon is here. Dana, thank you for being here, Dana. All right. I'm going to share with you the information that I have collected. This is on the website. It's from the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative. And it says, listen to this, it's important. It says, U.S. total goods trade with China were an estimated $582.4 billion in 2024. U.S. goods exports to China in 2024 were $143.5 billion, down 2.9% from 2023. U.S. goods imports from China in 2024 totaled $438.9 billion, up 2.8% from 2023. The U.S. goods trade deficit with China was $295.4 billion in 2024, a 5.8% increase over 2023. So what exactly is happening? We are buying more from China than we are selling. We're buying a whole lot more from China than we are selling to China. And so the trade deficit is going up. So we are facing a trade deficit with China, and the deficit is growing in size. Kay Cooper is here. Kay, good to see you. Thank you for being here, Kay. Kay says, how late am I? Well, I started 32 minutes ago. So, Kay, you can always go back and watch the replay. So stay with us here, Kay. Join the conversation. Thank you. And then you can replay the first half hour later. So in U.S.-China relation, there's no balanced trade. It's not balanced trade. And there's lack of fairness. And we are suffering, we the United States of America, we're suffering as a result of this lack of fairness in the U.S.-China relationship. We are at a disadvantage. We have been for a long time. In fact, as the State Department clearly states on their website, China's economy is one of the most restrictive investment climates in the world, including for U.S. investors. This is written clearly in the bilateral relations fact sheet on the website of the United States Department of State. And according to the State Department, it is very challenging to do business in China. So on one hand, we do a lot of trade with China, and it's not balanced trade because we sell less to China and we buy more from China. And that's why there's a deficit. So, but we do a lot of trade. On the other hand, the United States clearly understands that the trade relationship is not fair. It's not fair trade. It is not balanced trade. And now, we have a president who is taking action to ensure fairness. China is a country that is clearly retaliating. China has raised its total retaliatory tariff on U.S. imports to 125%. And prior to that, President Trump announced that tariffs on China is going to be at 145%. These numbers are all very high. All very high numbers. This is something that makes a lot of people excited. A lot of people are happy. Like they're like, yes, this is what we've been waiting for. We got a president who's fighting. He's fighting to protect America and the American economy. So people get excited when they see the United States imposing high tariffs on China, and obviously China is retaliating. But then there are a lot of people who get worried. A lot of people are worried. The reactions are mixed. But I have strong confidence that President Trump and his administration will get the job done. The Trump administration has all the information, they have all the data, and they know what strategy is going to work. What strategy is going to work? They know, the Trump administration knows. You look at the Trump administration, highly, highly qualified individuals, educated, very, very knowledgeable, very, very experienced, and most importantly, they are freedom-loving Americans. So the Trump administration is going to get the job done. Remember one thing, if there's no fair trade, then there's not going to be long-term prosperity. Without fair trade, we cannot ensure long-term prosperity. And people elected Donald Trump to change the status quo. People elected Donald Trump to ensure fairness. And he's going to get the things done. He's going to get the job done. Things that previous presidents could not do or would not do. We've had presidents, we've had other administrations in the past, but they were not able to do what President Trump is going to do. Either they were not able to do or they just didn't want to do it. But President Trump is going to get the job done. So right now, my friends, we have to observe and we have to pay attention. And remember, we have to continue to be hopeful. We need to have hope. We need to have optimism. Okay? Now, I've talked about this before. There are people, and they look at the stock market and the Dow goes down, and they're like, oh my God, the market's crashing, the economy is going downhill. No. The Dow may go down. The Dow may go up. It may go down for a little bit, then it'll go up. As long as we can ensure fair trade, we are going to have long-term prosperity. Remember that. And I tell people, do not be fooled by the temporary dip. We are going to prosper in the long run. So we have to be hopeful. My friends, I believe that we are going to witness a new economy. A new economy connected to a new order of international trade. I have been waiting for such a time. I personally have been waiting to see the things we are seeing right now. Somebody, a president who's going to come in and challenge the status quo and say that no, we're not going to do things the old way. A president who has a vision, a president who has assembled a great team that is working with him to make America great again. This is not business as usual. This is not politics as usual. And I've said this before. I'm repeating it again. I've been waiting for such a time. I personally have been waiting for this. Whatever is happening right now, I like it. I like the fact that we are sending a strong message to the world that we, the United States of America, we are the global leader. We need to say it out loud. Bree, good to see you. Bree is here. Thank you, Bree. Bree from Michigan is here. Good to see you, Bree. We are the global leader, and we have to send that message to the world. I mean, the world has always known that the United States of America is the global leader. But over the last 4 years in particular, because of lack of leadership in the White House, because of extremely poor governance at the federal level, and I'm talking about the executive branch, I'm talking about the Biden-Harris administration, because of lack of leadership, I think other countries kind of got the message, hey, America is not doing so well. And they thought, I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of people out there in the world, they thought that America is on a decline, that we're going downhill. We're not. We are back, and we are going to be stronger than ever before. And I think the world understands that. And that's why you got more than 75 countries that are looking to negotiate with the US. And President Trump said this, that countries are reaching out, the phones are ringing. Countries want to negotiate with the US. They want to find solutions. They want to come to agreements. Why? Because the world now understands that America is back. America is back. And prosperity is waiting for us. And we are going to get it. We will achieve, we will accomplish. So my friends, the last 4 years have been a struggle for the whole country. In spite of all our resources, it seemed that our country had shrunk and had retreated and taken a back seat. But now America is back. We are strong, we are proud, and we will remind the entire world how powerful we are. If you are a proud American, my friends, I want to hear it from you. Please write it in the live chat. Just say, I'm a proud American, or I'm proud to be an American. Please, my friends, write it in the live chat window. Write it in the live chat window, my friends. Write how proud you are to be an American. Bree is writing, I'm a proud American. Another viewer is writing, proud US citizen. Dana is also proud. Kay Cooper is also proud. James is proud. Thank you all, my friends. Thank you so very much. Gerlina writes, America is the blessed land. Tausif has given the facts this entire year. Thank you, Gerlina. Thank you. It is always my goal. It is always my goal to bring to you the truth. And, you know, I see some of the comments, not just in the live chat, but even on some of my videos or after my live stream has ended and people come and watch the replay, you'll see some comments from people, and those people accuse me of lying. They accuse me of being biased. Yes, I'm a Republican. I'm a conservative. I've made that very clear. People know that. People understand that. But when I'm presenting analysis, I'm being very, very objective. I'm being very, very impartial. When I talk about elections, yes, of course, I'm going to ask people to vote for Republicans. But when I'm giving you an analysis of the economy, I'm giving you accurate information. Inflation was bad when Biden and Harris were in power. When I say that people struggled a lot during the Biden-Harris administration, that is a fact. That is not a biased statement. That is a fact because many Americans could not afford the groceries for their families. Many people struggled to buy gas. Many people struggled. In spite of getting salary and wage increases, many people struggled because the prices were going up faster than the increase in their salaries and wages. And so people struggled, people suffered, people faced tremendous hardship in the Biden-Harris economy. And when I say that, the Democrats out there, they say, oh, you're lying, you're biased, that's not true. But you know what? What I'm telling you is the truth. The information that I'm presenting can be verified. You just have to go look at the data, look at the numbers. Prices went up like crazy. We suffered. And now we are heading towards prosperity. And that is the truth. That is the truth. When you have more than 75 countries reaching out to the US, when you got our phones ringing, our meaning our administration is in power, the people's administration, the Trump administration, when other countries are reaching out to the Trump administration, the phones are ringing and they want to say, we want to negotiate. We want to make a deal. That is the truth. That's a fact. And we got great people in the administration. You look at Secretary Marco Rubio. You look at Commerce Secretary. You look at, give me 1 second. You look at Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. You look at the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. You look at Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. These are some brilliant people. Donald Trump has chosen a great team. And it's the people's administration. And they are getting things done. So, I'm very happy. I'm very happy and I'm very proud. There may be temporary pain, but you have to think about the long term. And I've said that so many times. Have I already said it 100 times? I feel like I have. But I need to repeat this because I'm trying to get the message out to the people. When you see the Dow go down, do not be sad. You have to understand that temporary pain, temporary inconvenience will lead to long-term growth and prosperity. Jobs are going to come back to the US. Businesses will thrive. There's going to be more investment in our economy. There'll be prosperity. You have to look at the long term. President Trump and his administration, they are fighting inflation. They are trying to make energy affordable because President Trump believes in energy dominance. And people have asked me, like, how is the United States going to win? Well, we will win using our energy resources. We have so much of resources. It's unbelievable. I don't think people out there really get it. I mean, the amount of resources we have, natural resources, we are blessed. God has given the United States of America tremendous resources, natural resources. And when we use those natural resources, we are going to be unstoppable. We are going to be unstoppable. That's how we win. We got energy, and we will win. So, my friends, we are strong, we are proud, and we are reminding the entire world that America is extremely powerful. And the sooner the other countries acknowledge our power and our leadership, the better it is for the whole world. Like I said, negotiations, bilateral negotiations can lead to win-win situation. Trade can happen in such a way that both countries in the trade relationship will benefit. So, my friends, as an American, I'm happy to see the actions of the Trump administration, and I believe that we will experience a new economy with booming businesses, lots of opportunities for the American people, legal immigration, tremendous growth, and amazing prosperity. And the tariffs are going to help us achieve that. The tariffs are means to an end, and the end goal is to ensure fair trade. Win-win situation. So, my friends, share with me your thoughts. We are 52 minutes into the live stream. I'm going to wrap it up here fairly quickly, but I will try to do more and more live streams, and I hope that you will subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I hope that you will like this video, share this video. And it's so great to see so many of the friends tuning in for this live stream. I appreciate that so very much, my friends. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to end the poll. The poll question is, do you like the Trump administration's trade strategies in dealing with foreign countries? The choices are yes and no. 66 votes. And let's see. Out of 66 votes, 60% said yes, the Trump administration is awesome. 60% of the respondents said yes, the Trump administration is awesome. 60% of the respondents very much like the Trump administration's trade strategies in dealing with foreign countries. So thank you. Overwhelming support for President Donald J. Trump. So great to see that. Overwhelming support for President Trump. So my friends, thank you all so very much for tuning in. Thank you all for being here. It's so good to see you all. And I'm going to be back with more videos and more live streams. I would have stayed longer, but I'm going to be quite busy in the morning, so I want to make sure that I get some sleep. So that's why I'm ending it right now. So my friends, thank you all so very much. I appreciate it. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Like this video, share this video. We are trying to gain back the momentum on this channel, and we will get there. Okay, we will gain that momentum back because there's been a gap in the middle. I missed several days. Couldn't do a live stream, so we kind of fell behind in the algorithm, but we will once again gain momentum. So, with that, my friends, thank you all so very much. May God bless you all. May God bless our President, Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies. And may God bless freedom loving people all over the world. Thank you all so very much. So good to see you. Edwin, I don't think I got to say hi. Edwin, good to see you. Thank you. So, Pearl, good to see you. Thank you, everyone. Dana, Bree, Dee, Gerlina, AC, Frank, Crockett. And if I missed anyone, I'm very, very sorry. Okay. I appreciate each and every one of you. Okay. Cuba, is it Cuba Lou? Thank you all. Kay Cooper, thank you. Jerry, everyone, thank you so very much, my friends. Have a wonderful night, and I will be back again very, very soon. Thank you, my friends. Have a wonderful night.